Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 1016 to 1019 for the 5th to the 8th of December. So the past 4 days. So I was busy with moving house, so which is why I don't have time to do a SITREP. I did manage to do a few frontline changes report. Also, hopefully that helps to keep you updated with the latest information. And of course, you can definitely just watch Military Summary, Whip Union, Denis Davidoff, and whatever. But I'm not sure if the pro-Ukrainians actually cover frontline changes anymore. So anyway, the Syrian situation report is also out already. It helps to update you the latest developments in Syria. The war is not over. Assad is gone, but it's not over. So just maybe you'll be interested. So anyway, so we go to Ukraine first. So we're gonna go on from the northern front. There's a geolocation in today's geolocation. There was a bridge that was allegedly destroyed by an FPV drone. I can't tell how a FPV drone can destroy a bridge, but anyway, that is what it is. This in the Chernihiv region. This is also there's already one bridge already destroyed already. This is the similar one. So there must be something slowly brewing over in that sector, quietly brewing. Over in the Kursk front, strategic situation remains largely the same. The Russian forces is conducting their major counteroffensive over in the western and the northern flank, with fighting reported at Nikolaevo Darino, Nizhny Klin. Let me adjust my mouse. Svediklovo, Lebedevka, Leonidovo, Novo Ivanovka, and then we have Viktorovka, Nikolsky, Malaya Loknya, Novaya Sorokina. Ukrainian forces geolocated south of Pokrovsk. Ukrainians are also counterattacking over in Novo Ivanovka as well as Darino. So largely this is the situation over the western and northwestern flank. Russians allegedly also attacked at Ruskoye Parashkoye according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Largely the main operation is still remain to be along this line, where the Ukrainians are still putting up a very strong defense that the Russians still seemingly unable to break, or they are setting up a trap and just to destroy the Ukrainian military. Either way, the front line hardly changed in this area here, so there's something to note. Over in the eastern and the southern flank, so let me move this area. I'm not sure if it's meaningful to just not delete yeah, maybe it's a little bit meaningful. So Russian forces, okay, I need to move up a bit. So Russian forces are fighting in the region of let me see, of Martinovka in the eastern flank, and as well as towards Agronom, which is just east of Sudzha. There's also fighting reported at Krylovka as well as Blakovo. So pretty much more or less the same. These operations are probably limited strikes. The Russians didn't go for Sudzha. It's very interesting. I think strategically speaking, in general terms, I don't think the Russians are in a hurry to clear out Kursk. Because if there's definitely better ways to clear out the Ukrainians from the Kursk region. So definitely this is something very unusual. I think they are just trying to grind out the Ukrainians. Like, I think that I lean more towards that possibility because of the senseless way of how the operation is being done. Because if you really want to really clear the Ukrainians out, you actually should attack into Ukraine. Like, you should be attacking into Ukraine and do the flanking operations rather than trying to fight in just purely the Kursk region. That seems to be really difficult. Very unusual situation in that sense. We move into the Kharkiv front. This is the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, the Russian forces are largely fighting in the main regions at Lipsy, Voschansk, and Taike. But we have the Kozacha Lopan sector that is now has activated over the past week or two. We're fighting reported Kozacha Lopan being noted, Vysoha Yaruha, as well as Veterinani. So this is interesting. As I mentioned, I will be clearly watching this border region, this Kozecha Lopan sector is definitely something that I'm very curious about. I'm very interested to see what is going to unfold over there, because the fighting in this region definitely is not normal. For the in terms of this 1 year history of the Kharkiv front. So this is definitely something that we should watch out for. Vysoka Yaruha was fought on the 6th and the 8th. Kozecha Lopan is 6th on the 8th as well. Veteranny Narne is on the 5th. So there is a pretty sporadic. It's still not the main offensive, like, let's say Lipsy. You have fighting reported at Lipsy, like, 7 on and the 8th. Voschansk is almost daily. So that's something, a bit of a difference. So let's watch and see how this goes. Over in the Voreshna sector, fighting is reported over in Voreshna, Masyutivka, Zapadne, Kindrashevka, and there's shelling reported at Monakinevka. So, of course, the Ukrainians have already captured Novomlinsk, and the Russians seems to be still operating within the region of Zapadne and Masyutivka. So, my assumption at this moment is still that the Russians have this bridgehead or beachhead across the western bank of the Oskil River, and in the south of Voreshna. This is Voreshna. My assumption tentatively is still this case, but it is important to note that there's a possibility also that the Russians may be pushed back into Masyutivka, because if you look at the Ukrainian report, on the 6th it was at Zapadne, on the 7th it was at Masyutivka, and there's no report on the 8th of fighting in this region here. So it is always possible that the Russians may already lost this salient, just like what happened in Novomlinsk. But Novomlinsk got a lot of PR or reporting from the Ukrainian side, talking about their victory, the great victory of how they managed to retake Novomlinsk. So the lack of reporting about their success in this sector may also, of course, counterbalance a bit to show that maybe nothing happened. So let's see. Over at the Kupiansk front, there is fighting reported. As mentioned, Kindrashivka was already mentioned. Not sure, this is probably just shelling. Fighting is reported in the Kupiansk region, Petropavlivka, and Sinkivka region. So that's all from Kupiansk. Largely nothing changes in this sector. Over at the Pischane front, there's fighting reported towards Pischane in the north. There's smaller Pischane. There's fighting reported at Klishkivka, Kolesnikivka. Geolocation of Russian forces on the western side of Krylyakivka along the Oskil River. Russians are attacking towards Zarizove, Bohoslovka, Novokrylyakivka, as well as Lozova. So the Novokrylyakivka is appeared for the first time. This one is on the 5th. It's a few days ago. It's not continued. The continuation is actually at Bohoslavka, so which is just next door. So but the Russians have not even taken Zarizove. So of course, it's anyone's guess how they are fighting at Bohoslavka. It's reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Zarizove is reported mainly by both sides. So it is can be interpreted in very, very many ways. So that's all from the Pischane front. We move on further south to the Borova sector. So at the Borova front, how should I put it? Okay, let's do this. So fighting is reported as Zelene High, Kopanki, Nadia, Svetoklibove, Novoyehorivka, and Cheneshkina. Of course, Lozova was already mentioned earlier just now. So largely nothing have changed around here. The front line did not change. The battles pretty much looks the same to me. Nothing particularly special happened. In the South Svetove front, there is fighting reported towards Juselyubivka, Kharkivka, and Mekievka. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces on the west of Lyubivka. Oh my god. Novolyubivka. I changed the name of the place. Not important. So over in the Crimea front, there is fighting reported at Terny, Bilohorivka, Yampolivka, Zarishny, Torske, as well as through the Serebryansky forestry. Probably also fighting at Khorivka, just south of the river, the Seversky Donetsk River. So that's all. Nothing new in these sectors. And we move on to the Sivers front. There is fighting reported over in the at Verkhamokanyamsky. This is reported over the past 24 hours. I don't expect much from this area though, to be honest. The Russians have failed so many times in this area, I don't even bother. Over in the Bakhmut front, there is some, let's go from the northern flank. The northern flank, we have, I think, reported at Prevelia and Chasivia. Shalin reported at Mykolaiivka. So that's all, nothing special about these areas. In the southern flank, we have fighting reported at Stupovsky, Piteshne, as well as Bilohora. Otherwise, similarly, pretty skirmishy, nothing particularly special in these sectors. We move into the New York front. At the New York front, fighting is mainly over in the Toretsk sector. Fighting is reported at Dilievka, Dashne, Toretsk, Zabalka district of the Toretsk, Skibinivka, Novopaske, Leonidivka, as well as Nelipivka. So the main thing that is of course the situation developing at Toretsk. The Russian forces have finally closed up and captured the entirety of Zabalka district. The entire southern neighborhood of Toretsk city has been captured. Russian forces flank into the rear positions over just north of the two hills at Toretsk, and the Russian forces established more control over the center part of Toretsk city. So that is the main gist of the entire situation over in Toretsk. By the look of it, I think the Russians will close the gap and take the rest of the entire industrial area and then build from this sector moving up north, as well as closing the neighborhood over in the central part, fully taking the entirety of the central Toretsk of the city. So that's most likely what is going to happen. So let's continue to watch. The progress is super slow in Toretsk, but notwithstanding that it is very difficult to fight urban warfare. So they are taking grounds. So no, yeah, but progress definitely compared to other front lines super slow in terms of the square kilometers captured. Interesting thing is that Novopaske or Petrivka was mentioned. Leonidovka was reported the next day, and Skibinivka, of course, continued to be pretty busy. The Russians seems to not yet able to break out from this sector yet, but I think with the conquest of the Zabalka region, I think with the supporting action coming from the two hills, I think this will speed up the capture of Skibinivka, and Ukrainians is going to have their work cut out for them. So that's all from this sector. I did see, I think the comment, there's one comment is over in thread. I think it's thread or no, one of this newer, let me see, what is it? I think is Bisky, maybe is a threat. So someone who is like pro-Ukraine complained about me not being neutral, saying that I'm pro-Russia. But it's the same old story. I'm just want to say that there's nothing really much to talk about if you look from a Ukrainian point of view. It's just defending, and the initiative is actually on the Russian side. So if Ukraine is the one winning, then definitely people will think that I'm pro-Ukrainian, because that's exactly what happened when I reported on the Ukrainian offensive into the Kursk region. Of course, also in the Kursk offensive, in the Balaklia offensive, in the Kherson offensive, in the Zaporizhia offensive. I get a lot of pro-Ukrainian subscribers during those days. It's actually nothing to do with me being pro-Russia. I'm not. So, but he don't believe me, then yeah, whatever, man. That's why you're not on Twitter. Shelling is reported at Tarasevka. And then we move into the Pokrovsk front. At the Pokrovsk sector, Russian forces are fighting in Novotoretsk, Lyubimovka, Khodivka, Promen, Mykolaiivka, Minokhrad, Sukiya, and Lysivka. This is the boring sector, the boring front line at the Pokrovsk sector, Pokrovsk front. Nothing is going to change despite all these arrows. This is a static front line at this moment. A lot of active fighting because the Ukrainians are trying to hold their line, and they're trying to weaken the Russian positions in this sector. So definitely they will have to continue to skirmish the Russians in this area here, and thus the Russians are also going to do the same to slowly weaken the Ukrainian lines in this sector. But with the support of two major cities, this line is going to be very, very strong. Over in the, I'm not even sure what I should call this, Zofte sector. So we have, of course, the mentioned already, Lisivka and Sukiya. Russian forces have entered into the Chanske. And there is fighting reported towards Zeleny already. A massive amount of capture, as you can see, this massive hammer have developed in this sector with Russian forces attacking into Verzenia towards Shevchenko, having a strong foothold over Shevchenko. They have captured Novopustinka. They are pincering Novotroysk from the north and the south, and they have expanded control protecting Pustinka and Zofte. So this have become a massive hammer, a strong position in this area where the Russians can capture Shevchenko, Verzenia, and then they can hit Novo-Ukrainka down south to support the operation to capture Zeleny and Techensky, and then they can go off northward. And of course, from this sector, they can continue on with the river to Solone, Voskove, and then they can continue to cut off the highway for leading up to Pokrovsk from the west. And that is going to be a big problem. Of course, first they must capture Novotoroysk first. If I zoom out, you can see Pokrovsk. There is this road, and then another road. There's another road. There's another road. So of course, the southern road is no longer usable. So yeah, this road is now in danger if the Russians continue to move in this direction. And this road leads all the way to a lot of other roads, but mainly Zaporizhia. The other northern road leads all the way to Dnipro, and of course along the way Pavlograd. So these two main roads, one's to Zaporizhia, one's to Dnipro. So definitely this is an important highway for the Ukrainians. So we move south. In the south Pokrovsk sector, Russian forces also expanded control around Pushkine, with the Russians seemingly not interested in capturing Pushkine as they continue to push towards Ukrainka. Geolocation of Russian forces south of Pushkine, confirming the front line change previously, and the Russians have entered into Zoria for the first time and have captured Novodmitrivka. So this front line is a bit more quiet, but definitely is not exactly less important. There's a highway for the Russians to capture, to at least cut it off, and this highway leads all the way up north to Novotroysk. But of course, this highway is no longer usable because the Russians are already at Shevchenko and Novotroysk. It no longer leads to Pokrovsk. So the rush to hit this highway is no longer that much of a rush. I think it's more strategically vital for them to cut the highway leading to Zaporizhia, and that will be like a repeat of the Battle of Bakhmut, and then from there they will have to hit the road towards Dnipro. And honestly, this looks exactly like what happened during the Battle of Bakhmut, where the Russians have to flank and try to cut off the roads, which the Wagner private military contractors largely failed to do. So, but of course, they succeeded in Soledar, but Soledar is a way more smaller city. So over in Kurakove sector, there is fighting reported at Sontsevka. Russian forces captured Staritany with the frontline changes reported by the Ukrainian mapping. Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Berezky on the 7th, and the fighting is reported in the Berezky region. The Ukrainian salient around the north of in the northern side of the Kurakove sector seems to still to be intact, but this pincer is just waiting to happen, waiting to bite down. Actually, it looks like a hand. If you look like a hand. Yeah, look like a hand, you see. Like, the Russians could like that, very soon. So in the south, the Russian forces are expanding their control a little bit over at Kurakove. Very, very small control. Ukrainians seems to be putting up a very, very strong fight around Kurakove. And so I think Kurakove is going to last a lot longer than I thought it would be. And I would be expecting the Russians to head down from Staritany to create a second front for the Kurakove battle. And the attack into the rear position, cutting off the retreat route and reinforcement resupply route, is going to collapse the city much, much faster. So this is actually a thermal power plant, if I'm not wrong. So what is this? Yeah, it's a Krakow power station. So this is of course important, but I don't think it's operating anymore by this point. So that's all from this region of Krakow. And we move further south. Oh, of course, the Russians are attacking towards Dashny. It could be coming from Starry Turny, by the way. So by the way, I think I should put it here then. Yeah. So we move into the Uspenivka sector. So at the Uspenivka sector, Russian forces expanded control around the Donetsk region. So they expanded control around the Donetsk region. I want to zoom in a little bit. Okay, I can't. Okay, forget it. That's a mistake. So Russian forces expanding at Donetsk. They have punched south from Donetsk towards Uspenivka and allegedly entered into Uspenivka's farms. There's fighting reported at Hanivka. Fighting is reported at Romanivka. Ilinka was captured. Fighting is still reported at Yelizavetivka towards Zeleny High. Through the way, there's some frontline change reported over there. And Konstantinopolsk was actually attacked as well, as the Russians have already entered. The Ukrainians, however, on the 8th, yesterday's report, somehow mentioned Antonivka and Katerinivka. This is like ancient history already, but now they still think that the Russians are still here, or they're just trying to confuse the readers or whatnot. I'm not sure. Don't make a lot of sense. So I give them this, which is a B. No, it's a B. So anyway, we on the other side. Oh, I put the wrong color here. Suddenly there's an orange color. So over in this western flank of the Uspenivka sector, as mentioned earlier, there is fighting reported at Konstantinopolsk. Fighting is reported at Yelizavetivka, geolocation confirming Russians' presence in Sukiali. What did I say? Yelizavetivka. Sorry, no, that is Sukiali. Russians have entered Sukiali. Geolocation confirms that. Russians have now started to shell Yatarne. And fighting is moving towards Constantinople as well as Roslev. Shelling is reported at Uglakli. So, and of course, just now mentioned, the Russians are probably attacking from Starry Turny towards Dashne over here. So, Ukrainian forces geolocated to be hit by FPV drones, which is a pretty common trend by now, to the point where I don't even bother reporting about it. Sukiali, also same thing. FPV drones are raging havoc on resupply vehicles and whatnot. So that's the situation. Very complicated, a little bit complicated in this sector. And we move on over in the northern part of the Veliko Novosibirsk sector. So this is the northern part. So Russian forces are fighting in the direction of Bahate, Oratne. Shelling is reported at Korma, as fighting is reported at Rozdone, with Ukrainian forces seemingly have taken some grounds back over at Rozdone. Ukrainian counter-offensive continues over at Rozdone. There's fighting reported at Novo Ocheretuvate, maybe that's Shelling. And of course, Shelling reported at Dnipro and Nechia. So that's all. This sector here, the Ukrainians are a lot more stronger. There's a lot more Ukrainian troops in this sector. And there is geolocation of Ukrainians FPV drone hit by FPV drones. But that just shows the Ukrainians' presence, and they are determined to hold the line here and try to prevent any Russian breakthrough from this sector. Because if the Russians break through in this sector, yeah, more calamity. So in the rest of the Veliko Novosibirsk sector, so can I squeeze in everything? Yeah, barely. So Veliko Novosibirsk is here, by the way. So yeah, so like this, Russian forces have announced the capture of Blahodatne. There's fighting reported over there. The Russians have captured areas around Nifnopil, and they have expanded control west of Starizove. So fighting reported at Rifnopil. They're moving to Starizove, Makarivka, Nishkushny, Vremivka, Novosibirsk, Novodarivka, and moving towards Temerivka. So the Russians are definitely expanding control. So I want to zoom out a bit so you can see the strategic picture a bit better. So Rozdone, Ukrainians are counter-attacking at Novi Korma and Rozdone. Russian forces are trying to attack towards Novo Ocheretuvate. Shelling is reported at Dnipro here. So in this sector, the Russians captured Blahodatne. They are now expanded control around Rifnopil, moving towards Makarivka, to Storozheve, to Skishne, Nekrushny, Vremivka, Novosilka, Novodarivka, as well as Temerivka. So you can see where the real action is. This is the real attack. This area here is the diversion. So this push, this is actually super dangerous. It's not like a weak diversion. This is actually a very serious, dangerous diversion. And if the Ukrainians ignore it, it will become a real offensive. And the capture of Novi Koma and closing of the bridge over at Novo Ocheritavate will collapse the entire of the Velika Novosilka city. And so this was dangerous. The Ukrainians definitely noticed that that's serious. So they counterattacked heavily over in this sector. And then the Russians actually made the real push, which is over at Rifnopil, attacking Vremivka, Noshkishne, Storozheve, as well as Makarivka all at the same time. Very, very scary, to fight the Russians like this, because especially if you have limited equipment and troops, and then you're facing a superior number enemy like the Russians, then you're going to be a deep problem to decide where to actually hold your defense. Because if the Russians do this left fin, right hook kind of situation, there's very little you can actually do about it. Over in the Zaporizhia front, over the past 4 days, there's fighting reported at towards Huepole, Malatomashka, Novodanilivka, Nesterianka, Novoandrievka, as well as Shebaki. All of this is very 1 day-ish. 5, this on the 5th as well. Nesterianka was on the 8th. Novodanilivka was the 5th and the 6th. Malatomashka was on the 7th. Huepole was on the 5th. So it's pretty much, not that serious. It's just harassment, I would say. So we move on over to the Kherson front. So there is shelling reported Antonivka, Kherson, as well as, what's this place? Odrado Kanyamka. And there is some fighting reported in the Dniprovsky or pre-Dniprovsky direction, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, from the 6th to the 8th. But largely, we do not know what the hell is happening with that statement. So that's it. So, and one more thing, in the Black Sea, there is some fighting reported in the Black Sea with the Ukrainian surface drones getting engaged by the Russian Navy and Air Force. So, but that's about it. Nothing particularly special. This attack is a lot smaller than what it used to be, and it comes in the backdrop where the Syria is collapsing. So I wonder if they're trying to get some sudden attack, hopefully some sudden success to get back the headlines, because the Ukrainians are definitely dropping off the headlines very badly, and losing the PR war is bad, because Ukraine really needs all the PR they can get to continue to motivate and activate the rest of Europe to continue to fund their war. So anyway, that's it. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. Sorry for the long wait for this situation report. And consider support the DPA on Patreon. I'm losing a lot of Patreon patrons because I haven't been paying attention there. But do support, because Patreon is actually the cushion that allows DPA to continue to do all these reports without worries from the fluctuating viewership due to the way how the YouTube algorithm works. And I'll probably do a home tour soon. I'll put it on Patreon. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button and subscribe as well, just in case you forget. And I'll see you guys in the next update.